Welcome to the Heartification podcast, where I interview people on how art has affected their lives and what it means to them. Art has a very special place in my life. It not only makes me feel happy, but it allows me to make others feel special. This podcast is all about how art has made an impact on others' lives, for all ages, all backgrounds, and all walks of life. You can find more about this podcast guest in my show notes. Without further ado, let's welcome my next guest.
Great to meet you.
Great to meet you too. How are you?
Good. It's early here in Australia. How about you? What time is it where you're at?
It's about 5:30 p.m.
Oh, it's about 7 o'clock a.m. here. So very nice to see you. And you write very profound questions. I'm impressed.
Thank you so much. All right, so I'm just going to introduce you and we'll get on with it. He's an international motivational speaker and a magician. Please welcome my next guest, Vinh Giang.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too. So the first question I always ask is, how do you define art?
Art for me is a process of creation. I think it's creating something that is unique to you, because we're all unique in one way or another. So the process of creation is what I'd say it is.
Yeah, definitely. And you can like express yourself, your unique thoughts, your unique personality. This is how I define it, is anything where you can express yourself and, just let out your emotions and let out your feelings is art.
I like that definition better. That's nice.
And what art forms are you exposed to?
Well, for me, I think speaking is an art form, because I think every time we speak, we're almost like composing music. Like every time you choose to speak, you're choosing what melody to play. You're choosing what words to use. So to me, that is a form of art. I also am into the art of magic. Performing, I think, is an art. And I think living is a bit of an art form as well. And I think living is an art form that I'm very bad at. So I'm trying to learn how to live better.
Yeah, well, it's amazing. And so there is an art and a science to impressing a crowd with magic. And the science part can be shown in brain scans and tests. And in your role as a magician, how do you use magic to create that art?
I think magic, again, is an art form because, when you learn sleight of hand, every single different piece of sleight of hand is like the letters of the alphabet. And when you learn all the letters of the alphabet, then you're able to create your own unique words. So that's kind of how magicians do it. Is first you got to learn the letters of the alphabet, and then you can create your own words and then structure your own sentences. And that's the beauty with the world of magic, is that not all magicians are the same, because we create our own stories with the magic tricks.
Wow, I love that. That's really cool. Yeah, it's a really cool perspective on it. And so art is all about being creative. So how do you get people to be creative when you teach them with the 88 keys of a keyboard?
When I teach communication, I do use the analogy. I say to people that, look, your voice is like a piano. There's 88 keys on a piano. And often people have only played with, say, 12 keys. And they got so comfortable with these 12 keys. When I tell them to explore their voices, they go, oh, it feels weird. It doesn't feel natural. So to me, when you understand in your own mind that just because I'm telling you to do something different with your voice, it doesn't mean it's fake. It doesn't mean it's phony. It just means it's unfamiliar. So when you become familiar with all 88 keys of your voice, it allows you to be more creative, because now you can compose so many more different types of music. Whereas if you've only got access to 4 keys, there's only so many different songs you can come up with 4 keys. Whereas if you've got 88 keys and access to 88 keys, the number of songs you can come up with is just endless. That's why I think it's so important to explore our voices and explore all the different keys.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so how does your artistic side help you rise above the competition? I
think it allows me to find different ways to be unique. And I think often when people don't have an artistic mind, or, haven't developed their artistic mind, then what can happen is it's very easy just to copy others. It's very easy to create something that has already been created. Whereas I think when you train that artistic side of you, it allows you to be more unique, to develop a better unique value proposition that maybe others haven't created. And that helps you stand out.
Yeah, like to me, art is all about being unique and being different. And
Yeah.
and just being you.
But I think it's scary sometimes for people to just be themselves. I think, it's easy maybe for you and I to say, but I think there are a lot of people who are just, oh, what if the world doesn't like my unique art? What if the world doesn't like the unique me? So I think there's a lot of fear involved in that as well.
Yeah, there's the society saying like even what I do with people with disabilities and illnesses is exactly that, letting them express themselves instead of, feeling in that bubble of, society judging them just because they're different.
That's right. Yeah, and I'm so amazed that you're doing this. Yeah,
Thank you so
I find this really astonishing.
Thank you. And so art can help people in difficult situations. So has art ever helped you through a hard time in your life? And if so, how? And can you give an example?
I think art has helped me learn how to improvise. It's funny. I don't paint in that kind of art, but to me, my form of painting is through storytelling. It's through magic. It's through speaking. So to me, as I've learned art in those formats, I've learned how to improvise and to be free with my thoughts and with my actions. So when I go through a difficult time, I always give myself the freedom to be flexible, to not have so many rules that confine me. So I'll give you an example. I was in the US building my speaking career, and I've been there for the last 4 years. And I forgot the kind of creative side of me where I would create a creative solution where I said, oh, I've already been here 4 years. I should stay here for another 4 years at least. It makes sense. But then, I've kind of tapped into that more creative side of myself and thought, well, you know what? If you're unhappy, give yourself the freedom to express yourself, but also not only in the way you speak or anything, but allow yourself to express with freedom in your decision-making process. So then I said, you know what? I'm just going to paint a different stroke in this chapter, in this book, and I'm just going to fly back to Australia and write the next chapter in Australia. So to me, it was that creative process that allowed me to really learn how to improvise my way through life.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so when you went to New Zealand to find happiness in your life, was there a form of art that helped you with your decisions?
I think, again, it's so interesting because, I think a lot of people, when they think of art, they think of painting or they think of drawing. When I went to New Zealand, I went there because like you said, I wanted to find more balance and how to be happier. And now that you asked me that question in that way, I think the art form that I engaged in while I was there was probably the art form of meditation and hiking. I know that sounds strange, but it was just in taking in the beautiful scenery of New Zealand and hiking, it was very healing. So I think the art of nature and the art of meditation really healed me during that process and during that trip.
It's amazing. And are you attracted to any particular art form?
I think I am kind of attracted to the painting form of art. My son, he's 3. And every time I sit down and paint with him, I'm like, wow, I actually kind of enjoy this. Even though my paintings look terrible, I feel it feels fun. It feels freeing and it feels relaxing. So I think I'm kind of drawn to that art form right now, is literally painting.
Yeah, and it's really amazing what art can do. It can just make you feel just so happy and just uplift you even when you're in a difficult situation.
Yeah, it's very relaxing.
Are you attracted to any particular artist?
There's an artist named Red on Instagram that I follow, Red Yi Hong, and I just love her form of art that she does. She's so creative. Like, she'll use eggshells to create art. She'll use like cigarette butts to create art. She'll use rice to create art. It's just amazing. I love following her Instagram page.
And I think in art, there's like a lot of competition, there's a lot of painters out there, but it's important to be different. And the artist using, cigarette butts, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, you should check Red Yi Hong out. Y-I and then H-O-N-G.
So art is all about being creative, as I said before, and your parents' lives depended on thinking creatively to escape Vietnam. Can you tell me about that story?
When my parents escaped Vietnam, I think for them it was the willingness to let go of what they have. And I think in a way that symbolizes art as well, because sometimes you have to, because before I paint, I have so many judgments on like, oh, this is going to look bad, you shouldn't even do it. But you have to let go of those judgments before you can freely paint. For my parents to connect up with them, I think they had to let go of the fear of almost losing their lives. They had to let go of the fear of dying to be able to escape, to be free, to find a new life. So to me, they, in one way or another, they had to kind of engage in that art form, in the art form of letting go. So yeah, it was incredible. Their journey was unreal. They got on a boat in the middle of a storm to escape, because the only time they could escape was during a storm when the Viet Cong weren't patrolling. So to me, wow. Yeah, it was an incredible journey. But I think, again, they had to learn how to let go of that fear and focus on building that new future, painting that new life and that new future for the unborn children.
So how has your creativity connected with your purpose to find success?
Your questions are so deep. You got to give me a moment to think. How has my creativity connected to my purpose? Avni, I believe that in order to find your purpose, you have to give yourself the freedom to be creative. Finding your purpose is not easy. And I think your purpose changes from one area of your life to the next. Your purpose my purpose when I was 15, the only purpose I had when I was 15, that's why I'm so impressed by you, was how can I get a Toyota Supra twin turbo? It's a car. That was my purpose when I was 15. And then my purpose when I was in my early 20s was, how can I find love? How can I find a girlfriend? And then, so to me, as we go through life, the purpose of our lives, it changes. And it's okay for it to change from time to time because it's a natural thing. And I think if we are not creative, then sometimes we can get stuck with the same purpose, because I genuinely have friends who their purpose in life is still a Toyota Supra twin turbo, and I think it's something where when you learn to be more creative and when you engage with your creativity, it allows you to find and discover many purposes through life. So that's how I kind of see the world of creativity and the world of purpose colliding is it helps you rediscover a different purpose at each different stage of your life.
Wow, that's amazing. And how would you like people to get in touch with you?
Best way to connect with me is just through social media. It could be through Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and just my handle is Ask Vin, AskVinH.
Thank you so much for doing this.
That's okay. And look, I just have to say before we go, I'm so impressed with your communication skills.
Thank you so much.
It's unreal, Avni. To have such the ability to articulate your thoughts so clearly it's truly impressive. I'm slightly offended by how good you are.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, well, thank you so much again.
No worries. It was super fun. So thank you for doing this with me. And hey, if you ever need anything, make sure you reach out to me. You've got my email. So
definitely will.
I want to support you in what you're doing. I think it's great.
Yeah, well, have a great day. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Remember, if you want to find out more about this guest, please go to my show notes where I have all the links needed. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe to my podcast series and help me by sharing it, leaving a rating, and a comment. I hope you join me on my next podcast. Bye for now.